Hey, what's up, YouTube? I had some extra time today before church, so I figured I'd get on here and just kind of talk about what's going on in the world right now, and in my life, in my world, and my perceptions, and just kind of a rant, another video, just talking about my what's on my mind and my observations in the last couple months and the last couple years, and just taking it all in as we all go through all these different changes and different life situations that keep happening. So for me recently, I'm on that search to find myself, right? Like search to better myself, like invest in myself, do the right thing, don't focus on what other people are doing, just kind of focus in on myself. And it might come off a little self-centered, but I noticed in my personal life I wasn't adding value to those around me, and it was like I couldn't do anything to snap out of it. I was just comfortable getting in that comfortability um, place in life. And I'm not saying being comfortable is not a good thing, but for someone like me who's like trying to make up for lost time and you know have all these responsibilities and things that are important to me, all these goals, I was pushing them to the side and just focusing it in on a woman. And not saying it's bad not to put your lady first, but there's a fine line. Like you have to find that balance. And I just wasn't living up to my best self, so I had to like retract and pull myself back and subconsciously just let go, even though that was my whole world, everything that I knew for the last couple of years. It just wasn't benefiting me and it wasn't benefiting her. So kind of got to just backtrack and zero in and get back to what worked for you. And what I've noticed has been working for me in the last couple of days to keep that no contact going is staying busy, creating a schedule, and really looking into what core values and what is important to me and what I need to focus my time on, rather than waiting on a text or trying to plan later on for the day and keep your girl entertained. And um, when you start chasing and you start pursuing and showing up and consistently being there, sometimes it could get boring. And those times you'll find out, who your partner is and what they're made of, and vice versa. You start noticing little things about yourself that you could have changed, and things that you couldn't change. You're only responsible for yourself. You can't do anything about what this person has been through, you know, prior to meeting you. So I found myself trying to fix others' problems when I had my own problems, like it speaks about in the Bible. How are you going to like judge your brother with a speck in their eye when you got a plank in your eye? So that's kind of where I was at with it. Had so much things to work on, but I'm over here trying to put all my effort and focus into fixing someone else that is fully capable and fully able to take care of their own responsibilities. And you just got to let people live, and you got to let them do what works best for them, and you got to do what works best for you. Unfortunately, um, I've noticed with not only this recent relationship but just relationships in general, and in my life recently, that there's got to be an area where you're out in the desert for 40 days, and so to speak. I'm using the Bible as an example, but being out in the desert for 40 days doesn't necessarily have to be 40 days. It could be, your whole life. Could be 40 years, could be 40 hours, but you need to take that time out to yourself and really self-analyze. Where am I at? What are my end goals? What's working for me? What's not working for me? Um, am I blaming others? Am I taking accountability? you know, what's my role in all this that's going on? And it got to a point for myself where I couldn't differentiate what was their problem, what was my problem, and kind of how to solve it, you know? Um, like I said, you can't solve other people's problems, and that was my downfall. Not saying, oh, I'm a great person or anything like that. It might be a character flaw or defect. So um, I realized you can't save people, and half the time they don't even need to be saved. They are just living their lives, and you know, we take it on ourselves to judge them and say, hey, you're not living right, you're not doing this right. But really, it's like, who's not living right? Who's not doing the right thing? So um, yeah. So what's been working for me is, just like I said, staying busy, creating a schedule, getting back into my books, Atomic Habits, um, trying to get into books that I've been pushing off. I picked up Purpose Driven Life and started the first chapter again, and trying to refocus on what my purpose is, and what I need to do for my life moving forward as a 36-year-old male, and figuring out what's going to work for me, that's going to get me into a spot where I'm mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually solid. And whether I walk through any situation, I'm not bothered. I'm not so quick to explain myself and have to prove myself all the time. That's like the one main thing being in a relationship. It's like you got to perform, just like with everything else. You have to perform, and sometimes, depend on your partner. It's like you're expected to entertain and keep them happy, you know, and you hope it's just not always like that, where you're just overextending yourself to like, are you good? You good? Oh, are you offended? Are you not offended? So I realize in my experience, it's like, just try to be your best self, put out the best energy, um, work on your mind, body, and soul. Make sure you're good with yourself before you're trying to bring other people into your life. I recently, going through some self-help discovery, came across a gentleman on YouTube, and he was speaking about being a full puzzle piece, like a full puzzle before you go into a relationship. Where a lot of the times we expect, we're a half puzzle, or whatever, wherever you're at in your life, and you go into a relationship, they're a half puzzle, you're a half puzzle, and you're like, oh, good, we're a full puzzle now. And that might be okay for the time being, but as time goes on and the tests come, because they will come, that's not enough. You need to be your own solid person, and they need to be their own solid person, and can't go into it with expectations that you're going to fix this person and or they're going to add something to my life. And I think that's where I messed up. I thought it was her responsibility to work in my business and be a part of what I want to be and what is important to me. And you hope you find a woman that you lead and she follows, and it's not like a tussle, or like, she doesn't see your potential and just doesn't respect you and doesn't respect your vision or goal. So sometimes you got to backtrack, like, you think you're going to go down that route and that's going to be the rest of your life, but these people aren't going to be what you need them. So you need to be what you need to be for yourself. And it's nothing against them, it's nothing against you. It's a personal journey. It really is. And I'm starting to learn that. So I'm kind of going to leave the video at that right now. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you receive any updates as I start posting. I'm sure I'm going to be back on here just kind of rambling and ranting as my time has opened up. Um, Here soon, I'll be detailing and probably be busy, and hopefully the wood engraving kind of takes off a little bit more, and I can get some clarity on what projects sell and what I need to do and how I need to advertise myself. So that's what keeps me excited. That's what keeps me like pushing forward is um, the new beginnings, the new uh, approach at life. You know, my life's not over. I'm just beginning. I'm kind of just starting a new chapter, and that's okay. Doesn't matter how old you are, where you're at, but you know, try to stay inspired with something, find purpose in something, keep the hope alive in something. And that's kind of where I'm going to leave it at for the day. I hope you guys have a blessed day, and um, God bless.